Hey there, this is Molly Christensen with another episode to answer your questions on Hey Molly. So this question's an interesting one because this is not always something we think about. And this is what this person said. I feel like homeschooling is equivalent to entrepreneurship and public school is equivalent to the traditional 9 to 5 job or career. Um, so the question is, on one side, there's a lot of freedom. On the other side, there's a lot of structure. But if we homeschool this next generation, is that going to set them up for disappointment because they don't have as much flexibility in adulthood that they had in childhood? And are these kids going to be able to be successful entrepreneurs and provide a living if they don't have a job? Okay, I think these are really important questions to ask, right? And what we're really asking about is freedom versus structure. So when I first started homeschooling, I remember I struggled mightily because there was too much freedom for me to handle. I had grown up in the public school system. People told me what to do. I did it. Might have waited till the last minute, but I did it. And when I had kids and I was a stay-at-home mom and I started homeschooling, there was so much freedom. I didn't know how to discipline myself to actually do the things that needed to be done. Now, so the problem is I couldn't get a lot of stuff done because I didn't know how because I had so much freedom. Now, in public school, it is so structured and the 9 to 5 jobs that often we lose our spark to make different choices, right? We lose our zest for learning. We lose our ideas about contributing and doing great things, right? So for homeschoolers, we love the freedom, but we have got to learn how to manage that freedom to make the good choices with our own personal discipline and, you know, making things happen, right? And for as homeschoolers, they also need to learn the skill on the other side of how to submit to a structure, because a lot of times our kids don't learn that skill, and I think that is a good life skill to learn. I mean, because if we don't learn that, yeah, there's going to be struggles on both sides. And we can say the same thing about entrepreneurs, right? An entrepreneur loves the freedom, but they're not going to get anywhere unless they learn how to discipline themselves to do the things that are going to make them the money in their business, to do the things that are going to help them succeed. So, back over to public school mentality, right? They actually have the opposite problem because what happens is like people will just end up in a midlife crisis because they've been told what to do all their lives, right? Because they've only done that structure before and they've never felt real freedom and purpose on purpose, right? So they're going to struggle too unless they can start taking responsibility for their own choices, their own story, and their own freedom. So I think there is a balance in the middle here. um, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm still on the journey, and I'm going to keep going, but I'm still learning that I have to have the structure amidst the freedom, because otherwise, too much freedom, it's not going to go anywhere. You're just running around, right? But too much structure is you're only going to be stuck in one path and you're never going to be able to have that freedom to make the choices of what lights you up and helps you grow. So I mean, both homeschool and public school really do have their drawbacks, right? But being aware, I think, flexible middle structure is what can really help homeschoolers and public schoolers succeed. And if parents aren't teaching this, whether they're homeschoolers or public schoolers, um, yeah, then their kids are going to have more struggles. And it's just kind of one of those things that happen. Now, I also want to add too that with kids, there are definitely stages, right? And so if the person who asked this doesn't have older kids yet, I could totally see how this is a really big concern, especially when your kids are younger. Maybe you want them to have that wild and free childhood, right? Where there's more freedom and less structure. But as the kids get older, we funnel them towards more structure, but we also help them learn more discipline so they can create their own structure as well. And so as as you get teenagers, a lot of times what happens in society is that teenagers just end up playing more than anything, but that's when they really need to learn that structure, learn that discipline. Like they shouldn't be in this free for all, right? They can totally be moving towards amazing accomplishments of goals and doing structured things. So it's not like all of a sudden, you know, hopefully, right? We have all this tons of freedom all throughout the childhood, through teenagehood, and then they become adults and go, what? Totally free, but I'm not because now I have to have a job and make money, blah, blah, blah. So if we're giving our teens and our kids responsibilities early on, they're going to be able to transition, I think, into that flexible middle.